The Major League Baseball All-Star Weekend is upon us, and it's time for the Major League Baseball MLB 2022 Draft. That's right, my Baltimore Orioles, the baby birds of Birdland, are picking number one, the second time in 3 years, and third time in the franchise's history. Ben McDonald, Adley Rutschman, who will be added to this list of number one overall picks by the Baltimore Orioles. GM Mike Elias. Big decision ahead of him. A lot of talent in this field. Who will he go with? We're here to break it down with you live here on the Flex Zone Podcast, only place giving you your sports how you want it when you need it. If you're watching right now, hit that thumbs up, hit that like button, hit that bell for all notifications, and let me know your thoughts on the Major League Baseball Draft and what the Orioles will do at number one. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. And, of course, I'll be here with you to break down the picks. And we get started here on the Flex Zone Podcast. What's going on, Flex Zone family? God's favorite host, the host with the Moist, back here again here on the Flex Zone Podcast, only place giving you your sports how you want it when you need it. BKD here again tonight. Happy Sunday evening to wherever you may be. Here to talk about the MLB 2022 Draft as my Baltimore Orioles are on the clock picking number one. Let me know what you guys think about the draft tonight. Orioles are on fire. They lost again today, but pretty much 11-2 in their last 13 games heading into the All-Star break. Going into the All-Star break at 500. If you're watching, as I said, hit that home run button, which is the subscribe button. Hit that bell for all notifications and slide safely here on the Flex On Podcast and hit that thumbs up. But let's get straight to it. Baltimore Orioles, the team I follow, the team I root for, are picking number one, and there's a lot of debate. There have been discussions about them winding down to 5 guys. They're looking to possibly save money. Are they going to take a haircut and spend less money? You have up to $8 million or so in slot money to spend on that first-round pick. I think Drew Jones is the consensus number one player in this draft, son of Andrew Jones. We'll see what happens. I think that there's a lot of potential here with hitters in this draft. There isn't a lot of pitching prospects that jump out to you and should be at the top of the draft and may not even go till after pick 10 a pitcher. We'll see. There's some high school talent. There's some college picks as well. So I do want to see what happens here. Do they take Drew Jones? They have a very crowded outfield. Cedric Mullins, Santander.
It is sort of varied here.
They have Hayes. They have some guys in the outfield. Stowers could be coming up soon. We shall see. But it's hard to say in the next 3 or 4 years that all of these guys will be here in Birdland. Now, we're counting down generally to have the Ravens on the clock. There are rumors of Tamar Johnson, a high school hitter. He is very, very interesting. Now, we look at the odds on the first overall pick. They got Tamar Johnson Brooks Lee, Drew Jones, Jackson Holiday, son of Matt Holiday of the Cardinals. So we'll see what happens. I'm intrigued to see what the Orioles are going to do. I don't know what they're going to do here. What I would do is I would take Drew Jones. He is the best player, I think, in this draft. Yeah, he's an outfielder, but I think he could be a guy who can move around in the outfield, has that flexibility in the outfield, but also has the ability to play DH, and we shall see. But Tamar Johnson, maybe the number one pick. He's a second baseman. The Orioles don't have particularly a second baseman in the pipeline that is coming up quickly and could be the guy they want. Now, at third, we got Westberg. At shortstop, you got Gunnar Henderson. You have first base Ryan Mountcastle as Rob Manfred comes to this podium to get booed. The worst commissioner in professional sports right now. But the All-Star game is in LA, so we'll see what happens. But they're having an outdoor draft this year, so it's doing something different. And the Orioles, like I said, going to the All-Star break at 500, have one of the best or top 2 or 3 farm systems, depending on who you ask, in Major League Baseball. We shall see exactly what happens with this. You got Rutschman here. We've seen some of the guys they've taken with not going high money at number 1 or early in the draft, of saving money and being a little bit on the lower end or the Angelo's way, the cheaper end, saving some money, getting guys like Gunnar Henderson, getting guys like Jordan Westberg, getting guys who are actually better than some of the guys they've taken at the top of the draft in past years as well. So I would not put too much into them not taking Drew Jones here. If they do take Tamar Johnson, which I think one of these 2 guys are going to be one of the picks for the Baltimore Orioles who are picking at number 1. Now, I do think that is going to be interesting to see. Do they go with the college hitter who could come in and play second base in the next 2 or 3 years? Do they go with the outfielder with the pedigree, the bloodline, in Drew Jones as well? But Jackson Holiday is number 1 on some boards. You got Kevin Pareda, catcher. We're not taking another catcher. You got Cam Collier, third baseman, Brooks Lee, out of Kyle Poly. And they are on the clock by the Orioles. They'll be followed by Arizona and then followed by the Texas Rangers at 3. So we'll see what happens as the draft is just getting started here, and I'm here with you guys to see what happens, to react live to the pick. I don't know what they're going to do. Like I said, I would probably take Drew Jones. You look at the number 1 pick in any draft, and of course the MLB draft is an exact science. And it's probably the toughest draft of any sports. Guys at number 1 don't usually pan out. You usually have guys in later rounds who are the stars, but looking at the players that they do have the ability to draft, you get a transcendent type player like an Adley Rutschman, like you took in 2019. Drew Jones is probably the closest thing to that in this draft. Looking at the pedigree, looking at the bloodline, looking at the ability to hit the ball very, very far, very, very fast, play the outfield, and has the build. I think he is only 180 pounds, but 6'4". I think he can be like his dad, start as somebody who was on the smaller end, but eventually bulk up the right way. And I think with this Orioles system, get trained the right way, bulk up correctly, and eventually be a guy who is, in the next 2 or 3 years, could be rising up the ranks of the minor league system and could be here in Birdland. Like I said, I would probably go Drew Jones because I think he's a guy who is positionless in a way, and I mean that in a good way. He can play outfield, but he may even be able to come in and be a DH. Like I said, Mancini, Santander, Hayes, Mullins, McKenna, Stowers, all of these guys who have outfield availability and versatility probably won't be here in the next 2 or 3 years. So you can't let that stop you from taking probably one of the better players in the last couple of drafts in Drew Jones, who has been a guy who I think probably over the last year was somebody who was going to be the number 1 pick and was thought to be the best player head and shoulders above the rest. Now, that does not mean that Tamar Johnson is not going to be a very good player, because we had this discussion of Bobby Witt and Adley Rutschman. I kind of wanted Bobby Witt. You get a guy who can put a shortstop for the next 15 years. You get a guy who can hit the ball far, can play gold glove caliber defense, is a high school back, so young and still very impressionable, meaning he has a lot of room to grow, probably has a higher ceiling, higher upside, but Rutschman, more of the polished, complete player all around, playing in college and being that guy that we see now. I think both of their careers will be linked. And even you had Torkelson in that draft as well. And even now with Rutschman, with Julio Rodriguez as well in with Seattle as well. So we shall see what the Orioles do here. They are currently on the clock. But make sure if you're watching, thank you guys for tuning in. You hit that home run, which is that subscribe button. You slide safely, hitting that thumbs up, and support the channel by hitting that bell as well. We have a big show tomorrow. It's our 350th episode of our main flagship podcast, the Flex On Podcast, tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll talk about the Orioles' #1 overall draft pick, recap that. We got a very special guest talking Ravens as well. We're going to look at the war room of the Orioles. The Orioles took Rutschman in 2019. Looking at ESPN, they're considered the second best farm system. Mike Elias comes over from Houston. He's rebuilt his farm system from the ground up. The Oriole brothers in the house, so we shall see what happens here. But they took, remember, in Houston, took Carlos Correa below on slot, and then got Lance McCullers as well. So last two drafts under Mike Elias, Adley Rutschman, #1, Gunnar Henderson, #2, second round, Heston Kjerstad, first round, Joe Westberg, first round, Colby Mayo, fourth round, Colton Cowser, how about him? He was taken as well, and Connor Norby as well. So hey, let's see what they do here. I'm going to support them either way. I'm going to trust the process, take a Philly reference here, and what they did in Philly with the draft picks, and hey, I want to see what they do here. I'm going to support them either way. I think if they go Jones, I'll be okay with it and love it. If they go Johnson, I'll be okay with it and love it as well. So I think they will probably look to go the safer route and save money, as the Orioles are known to do, and look to spend that money later on down the line, maybe with some other guys who could have high upsides and could cost a little more and get more money with them. So we'll see what happens. And Mike Elias was in a situation where he didn't take Byron Buxton, took Correa, and got Lance McCullers. So you got a starting pitcher and you got a generational shortstop as well. But we are getting ready to see as the pick is in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell, and we shall see as Rob Manfred is getting the pick and comes to the podium with the pick for the Baltimore Orioles in the 2022 Major League Baseball Amateur Draft. Let's hear it.
Select Jackson Holiday, a shortstop from
Wow, they took Jackson Holiday, Stillwater High School out of Oklahoma. Okay, didn't see that one coming, actually. So talk about a live reaction. Another shortstop?
When you don't know exactly who they're going to choose, we mentioned both
Wow, okay.
Termar and certainly Drew Jones, but it's another son of a former All-Star player,
son of seven-time All-Star Matt Holiday.
Again, you talk about the lineage, you talk about the baseball instincts,
I'm
and
going to
most
go with it.
importantly, in the position that he plays, the internal clock. He understands where to be in different stages of the game. And for me,
only
that's
18 years old.
Why? Because at this
18
age,
years old, he
this
was Oklahoma High School Baseball Player of the Year.
He gets to the minor leagues and he progresses
I'm
throughout.
intrigued. I want to see what happens here. Got another shortstop with Westberg and Gunnar Henderson. So they had 89 hits last year, National High School record. They like guys who can make contact, guys who can get on base, have high OPS, guys who make contact, as they say. Let's see what's going on here. Appreciate you, brother, tuning in. Makes sense. Good lefty bat. We need infield depth. Hey, maybe we can play second base. Maybe we can play shortstop with Gunnar Henderson, with Westberg. We'll see. We'll see. But we appreciate you tuning in, brother. All love, my bro. Appreciate it. Shout out to you as always, doing great work. And hey, I'm gonna wait and see how it goes. Like I said, I wanted Drew Jones or Johnson, but hey, I think upside-wise, it does make sense too. And I gotta agree with you. He's a lefty bat. They need the infield depth. He's getting better with power. He has the leadership capabilities that they talked about. And we shall see. We shall see. We won't know. We're only 18 years of age, high school. You gotta give it 3 or 4 years at least before we even know anything. So it'll be 2025, 2026 before we have an actual evaluation.
Yeah, I guess I got a 50 on the field there, but average defensive shortstop is an
They
above
said
average
he's
tool, and I think he might be a
average
55. I
defensive
might be low
shortstop.
on that one. This kid
And
is fantastic.
We'll see.
Left-handed shortstop. Again, if you're taking an archetype of the kind of guy you want, this is the kind of guy.
This looks like a guy that fits
to
into
me, when we
Orioles
talk
mold
lineage, it's more than
of
just the physical tools. My dad was a
guys
stud,
they've been
so I'm going to be
drafting.
a stud. Like,
Guys who make
Kid
contact,
grew
guys
up
who have
in the
position
clubhouse.
versatility,
He knows the
guys
highs
who
and
have
lows. He knows
potential
what
to
it's like
grow.
to wear the bullseye
And
of being Matt Holliday's
hey,
son.
he does have
So I
that
don't think
bloodline
the
of
bullseye
lineage.
of
I
being the
think
number
he'll be
one pick in
fine.
the draft is
I
going to
think he'll
bother
be
him either.
fine. He has the
When you talk about his
wherewithal.
game,
He has the
he
most
broke the
hits in
national
the high
record for
school.
hits in a season. He got
Most
89 hits in
89 hits
48.
last season in
He
40
also hit
games
17
for a
home
high
runs, so he's got a
school
feel for the
bat.
barrel. I like the
17
Dansby
home
Swanson
runs.
comp, and if
So
you got what Dansby Swanson
yeah, I did want Jones, even though we are deep in
doing
the
right now
outfield. I
in
don't
this
think we
pick,
keep all
you're
those outfield
Michael
guys
Asher
because the
taking
Orioles
the
don't pay
depth.
anybody.
One thing, the only
Santander,
bad news for the
Jones,
Holiday family
excuse
today
me, Santander,
is Uncle Josh Holiday is the head coach at
Hayes,
Oklahoma State. I don't
Mullins.
think he's going to go to Oklahoma State.
What, you
That's not
got
happening.
Mancini still
Signed
here.
Oklahoma State.
You got
Bad
Cowser
thing could happen
coming
to the
up. You
Holiday
got
family right there.
Stowers in
I
the
don't think
minor
he's
leagues
gonna
as well.
They might end up losing his younger
Hey,
brother as well.
we'll
That
see.
projects to
We'll
go in
see.
the first round.
We'll
Never
see.
know how
But
high as well. But
I'm
think
not
about
going to
all
hate
the
on it. Hey,
lefty power
he's one of the
hitting
probably 3 or
shortstops in
4
the game.
best guys. He was on
Seager's
that
going to be in
board.
the home run
They
derby.
liked it.
But
But
besides
yeah,
that,
Drew
right
Jones
now,
just seems
this
like
guy
he had that
projects
potential. But I
as an
think Arizona's
all-star
about to take Drew
shortstop
Jones as well.
from the left side. You don't see many of those.
But they're saying
Let's
he has
get some
the
more
potential
on
to be an
this
all-star,
selection
and he's a
from
left-handed
Jeff down
bat,
on the
so
board.
that's good to see
And I
as well.
spoke with Jackson Holiday
And let's hear
earlier
what
this week, and his
they're
father,
saying
Matt,
about it as well.
they were talking about how after
Yeah,
COVID,
Mike Trout,
Jackson
how does
Holiday
an
stopped
all-star
going
game
to
do?
school every day, did his schoolwork at home, online
Mike
instead,
Trout can't get
and
right.
spent
And
the
then neither
rest
can
of
the
the
Angels.
day
Speaking
in
of
the
a
cages,
record
taking swings with his
franchise
father.
when
Matt
it comes to
Holiday
baseball.
is
Yeah.
Jackson Holiday is hitting coach, and the reason the
Matt
swing
Holiday
looks
is
so
his
pretty,
coach.
it's not just
His dad.
genetics,
So I'm not
it's
mad at
rep,
that.
it's hard
I'm not
work,
mad at
it's
that.
all
Like I
of
said,
the
he's
things
following
that
a
he
180
learned, seeing
pound
his
football bet.
father, seeing
So
Aaron
he can
Judge as a
bulk up in the
13-year-old
next
in
2
a
or
New
3
York
years.
Yankees
We shall
clubhouse,
see
and
what happens.
befriending people like Nolan Arenado across Major League
But he's been
Baseball,
around
who
guys
think
like
the
Aaron Judge,
absolute
Nolan
world of
Arenado.
Jackson Holiday.
So
Yeah,
we
that's
shall
the other
see what
connection here, and
happens.
Jess can bring us a little more
So
on exactly the
Diamondbacks, Texas
Holiday
Rangers at
lineage,
3,
but also the
Pirates at
people he
4,
just mentioned, a couple of them, Jess, who've had influence and continue to
and
influence
we shall
Jackson
see.
Holiday, the new
Let's
number 1
see.
pick.
Well, and what's interesting,
Nationals
Rav,
at
is he
5.
did not always
Speaking of
embrace
Nationals,
being
Juan
Matt
Soto.
Holiday's son. That's
Let's
something
see
he
what
told
happens
me
with him.
about. And it wasn't
Projecting
until he entered high school, he
$440
wore his
million.
number. He was super proud.
Jesus
Kind of
Christ, I wish
changed
I had
that
that
narrative.
opportunity.
And
But
this season had a
Marlins at 6,
record-breaking offensive
and
season that he told me all about.
we shall see. We shall see.
Tell me about 89 hits this year. JT Realmuto's
Cubs.
record seemed like it was going to be a
At
test. What was
7,
that
he
like
broke
breaking
JT
that record?
Realmuto's
Coming down, my dad told me
record
about 7
for
games, 4 maybe, so
most
I had to
hits
get them all
in
against quality teams. It was really,
high
really
school.
fun to be able to
That's
break
crazy.
that record and
He
share it with
seems like he's going to be a guy that can
How important was
get
it
on
for
base,
you
gets
kind of
hits,
adding that
makes
power
contact,
this last year?
plays good
to be able to
defense.
turn those
Maybe
kind
not
of
great
line
defense,
drives
but
and
above average defense.
doubles into
And
homers
hit on the base
important
pass
for
and
me.
do things. And I
Just
think he's a
feel
guy
like to
who
help
is
my team
going to
day in
develop
and
into a
day out
power
was
hitter as well.
something that
And
I
hey,
really
playing the Kennedy
took
yards
pride
doesn't
in
hurt either.
and trying
That's a
to
good hitter's
help
park.
us
I know
win.
the
It was
left
a lot of fun to be able to
the
compete
left field
with
wall
a lot
now
of the
is
guys
a
that
little different,
I grew
but
up with.
Tell me about
I
your
think
brother
it's still a good
Ethan. You
hitter's
guys get
park.
the chance to play together, hitting back to back.
Make sure you guys
What's
hit
that
that
been like?
bell, hit that like button as
It's
well.
something that I'll remember
And he played with
forever.
his brother, so his
Just
brother
being
could
able
get
to
drafted as well,
compete with
maybe in
him.
the first round. We'll
We
see.
never got in any
We
fights.
shall
We'll
see.
fight and
I'm
we'll
intrigued
fall,
about Kumar
not real
Rocket
good.
too. I want to see where he
You pick
goes
one
tonight as
memory
well.
that's been your favorite baseball memory. What is it?
I'd say this year,
But Justin
being able to
Holiday
play
is
with
the
Ethan,
Orioles pick.
we hit back-to-back
If I had to give it
home
an
runs twice.
immediate grade,
It was really, really fun to be able to play with him.
I'd probably
Alright,
give it a
Can
B.
you just talk about the hair for like a second? What's been the influence?
Probably give it a B.
I kind of just started
A
growing
B,
it out after,
which could
my
turn into a
freshman
B plus, but I give
I
it a
really
B.
like Brandon Crawford, so hopefully he
Takes
sees
inspiration
this.
from Brandon Crawford, good player with the hair. So we'll see. I give it a B. First reaction, first hand about it.
The one thing
B
that got cut
with
from this piece,
potential
guys, too, which is hilarious,
to
is he was
be
saying
a B
how
plus.
his dad
So-
and his uncle Josh don't
so
have a
we'll
lot
see.
of hair, so
We'll
that's
see.
why he's
We'll see.
growing it out.
We'll see what happens
Which
with the
was pretty
Orioles
funny. His
and their
grandfather
number one
also is
pick
a scout
as
in
well,
Major
but
League Baseball,
I
so
give
we're
it a
now
B
seeing
just
three
off of
generations.
initial
Yeah, hang
hearing
on to it
about
when
it.
you
But
have it for
hey,
sure.
he wants me to give it to a B plus, but we shall see. I give it a B, but a lot of players from their players and their dads in this. Got Matt Holliday and Jackson Holliday. Matt Holliday from 2018. Just finished playing in 2018, played in 2004.
Grandfather Tom coached there too.
And we'll see what the Diamondbacks do at number 2. But Jackson Holiday is the number 1 pick for the Orioles. And Holiday is joining them along with Matt Holliday.
Gosh, congratulations, Jackson. With you, when you go into this day,
so we shall see. They're doing a better job with the MLB Draft, making it more appeasing, making it more viable, watching it. And we shall see exactly what
I
happens
was
with that.
very, very excited, and I was really looking forward to it. But I just treat it like a normal day. We went and hit, and we've been swimming, so it's just been.
Hey,
It's
he
been
went
an
and hit
awesome
today,
day,
so it
and,
looks like he's
really,
committed to what he's doing.
It's been amazing.
Tell me
It's
about
good
the
to see.
relationship that all the people behind you have, but certainly to the man standing there to your right.
I think the
your
Orioles
dad.
picked twice tonight as well, so we'll see what happens.
He's awesome. He's like my best friend, and he's always there when I want to work.
But
And
hey,
he's
like I
always
said, right now I'm
pushing
gonna
me
give
to
it
be
an initial
great,
reaction
and
of
I probably
B,
wouldn't be in this
with
position
potential to be a
without him.
B plus. Like I said, I would
Patty,
have
I
liked
can't
Drew
imagine
Jones, I
what
would
this
have liked
moment feels
Johnson,
like.
but
Why don't you
I
share
think
that with us?
Jackson
What does it feel
was
like to have
probably
your son be taken
3 on my
first
list personally,
overall in a
but
Major
we'll
League
see.
Baseball draft?
We'll see.
Yeah, it's very surreal.
We shall see what happens.
I
And
just
hey,
looked at my wife before
I'll
the
keep
draft
posted.
started
I'll
and
keep it
thought
posted. I mean, he's
it's
probably going
crazy
to
that we're
eventually,
here,
when the prospect
that
list comes
Jackson's
out
old
before the end of the
enough
year,
to
or
have this kind of
by
experience,
next
and,
year, it
I'm
could
super proud of
be
him, obviously,
in
as
the
a
top
dad,
10 or
to
15
share
of
passion
prospects the
for
Orioles have,
baseball with him,
and
to
just
get a chance
adding
to
to the
watch
list.
the
But
first
hey,
step,
when you got
really, in
baseball
his
prospects, you
career, his
gotta
goal,
keep
his
adding
dreams,
to it. You need depth.
come true,
You
and
need
to watch the
more.
work
How many
that he put in
prospects
to
do
get
you
here.
need more? How many
I
prospects
just
do you
think
need at
back
this
of all the
position
time we
more?
spent
Because
together
more times than
at the
not,
baseball
you could
field
have
and
10
around Major League Baseball.
number
For
one
him to
overall picks in
start
the
his
MLB,
career,
but
to
only
be
1 or
drafted
2
in
could
the
pan
first
out.
round, the first
And
pick
if
of the
you
first
do that,
round,
you hit
by a storied
30%,
franchise,
40%,
pretty
you're doing
exciting.
something good.
No
So
doubt about it. Hey,
it's
Matt,
not a
congratulations,
guarantee.
Jackson.
It's
Super
an
job. I
inexact
know all the
science.
people
He
behind
could
you
be
have
an all-star. He
supported
could
you
be
as
a guy
well.
we never seen in the major leagues.
Congratulations
Who
on this
knows?
pick.
Look at Ashton Kjerstad. He could
Thank you. I really appreciate
eventually
it.
make it to the major leagues, but right now it's looking like
But
he is
you can see
not
it,
what the
you can
Orioles wanted
hear,
at the pick
and you mentioned it,
during
the sort of the
that
level-headed
draft as
nature
well.
that
But
Dad has presented through this whole thing.
hey, we
It's not
shall
easy doing
see.
this, and they
That's
have
why
done it as a
it's the
family
baseball
forever.
draft. You can't make
We'll talk
initial
much more
reactions
about
because
the
we don't know
number
what the
one pick
future
in a
is.
moment, but the
I
Arizona
mean, but the
Diamondbacks
pick is in
perhaps
for the
seeing what just
Diamondbacks
happened
as well. We'll see if they take
with the
Drew
number 2
Jones.
pick. Here's the
Let's hear the
commissioner.
pick as well for the Cardinals. I mean, for the Diamondbacks.
MLB Draft, the Arizona Diamondbacks select Drew Jones.
They take Drew
an
Jones.
outfielder
Diamondbacks
from
ran to the
Wesleyan
podium,
High School in
and they
Norcross,
got
Georgia.
Drew Jones, the best player I think in this draft. But we shall see how that turns out to be in the next 3 to 5 years as well. But Drew
Well, we
Jones.
talked about lineage, and now we've seen 2 fall off the board. This guy is
So
a
2
5-tool star, and
sons
by
of
the most
former
sort of
college
accounts is
and
the
Major
most
League Baseball
well-rounded,
players.
ready for Major League Baseball of anybody.
Absolutely. And look, one thing that's really hard to teach is being able to drive the ball
The Arizona
the opposite way
Diamondbacks got a good player
with
though.
power. And one thing that Drew Jones has always been able to do is hit the ball straight away center, right
And
center,
Drew Jones
right
has
field with
power, like his
shows
dad
up in
had.
big
So
moments.
we'll
He
see
will learn how to
what
pull the ball
happens.
consistently when thrown
His
inside.
dad was a
But
very good
this
power
kid
hitter
right
as
here,
well.
the son of Andrew Jones,
From
is
96 to
an excellent
2012.
athlete and projects to be a 70 when it comes
Georgia
to
High School
defense
Baseball
in the
Player of
outfield.
the Year. Hey,
Yeah,
like I
so
said, we'll
I
see
think
what
Drew,
happens.
according to the last guys I've talked to, from what I've seen, could be a major league center fielder, like average right now. And I think he may be a 70 on the 2080 scale
They're
when it
saying
comes
he
down to
could
it.
be a
And
center
you may swing
fielder right now.
seen this swing before. Went a little viral for this one. Channing overrated, takes him dead central. Now, similar to Jackson Holiday, this
Wow.
year, bigger, more physical, more in-game lift. Here he's
Now
age 60 when I
comparing him
first
to
saw him.
Fernando
Fernando
Tatis Jr.
Jr. at age
Sheesh.
15 looks strikingly similar
Wow.
at the same stage. Now, here we are a couple years later. You can see how that body has changed, how the swing has changed.
65 hits last year,
And
hit
then here we are with
570.
Tatis. This is a Tatis at 22, Drew at 18.
9K.
The body, I think, is heading in that direction. I think the power, the lift,
Now
the
they're
pull,
comparing
all
him
that
to a
can be there.
Tatis
Now,
Jr.
here's the
type
sales
with the
pitch.
body
You look at the
type
speed, field,
and the
arm. 80 is
swing.
as high as you go. 80, we're talking Trout. We're talking Buxton, those kinds of guys. He projects to be that good at 3 of the 5 tools. And all the components are there for the hit tool, for the power to come.
Yeah, we'll see.
Shown it to you,
He's
but like
projecting
Eduardo
well, though.
said, the in-game against
He's
90
projecting
plus
very,
wood
very well.
bat, lift and pull isn't quite there yet, but everything's there for it to happen.
Yeah, what's interesting about the difference between these two is like
So
Jackson
now the
Holiday is
best
the son
available,
of
we
Matt,
got
but
Kevin
totally
Parada,
different players. Drew
Cam
Jones is the son of
Collier,
Andrew, and the hope
Brooks
is that
Lee,
he's going to be Andrew
Elijah
Jones. Like you
Green.
already have the prototype for the type of player that
It's
they're
crazy
hoping
that
they're
Johnson
getting.
is
So pretty cool for the Diamondbacks. Number
he's
one,
not
you
even
got
in the
Jordan
top
Lawler
5 of
last year,
best
who might be
available.
a
I don't know
cornerstone
what's up with these
shortstop.
rankings, but
This year you got
I
Drew
think
Jones, who might be a cornerstone
Johnson,
center fielder, and you watch those clips. He's long.
I think
so you worry
Johnson
about
should
today's
be,
game. Can he
but
handle the top of the zone? 2 of those home runs
We'll
we
see.
just showed you,
We'll see.
granted, high school velocity, but he can flatten out the barrel at the top of the zone. There's a lot to love about this pick.
I really need. Let's share this because
And the
it's
Rangers
such
are
a
on the clock with the
Andrew
ninth ranked
Jones
farm
type
system
thing
as
to
well.
do, and now it's clearly a Drew Jones type thing to do. A
But make
tournament
sure you
in
guys hit that
Decatur,
like button,
Georgia.
hit that bell.
You can hear what the crowd is saying when he came to the plate, and then listen to what happens to the crowd when his at bat ends.
Oh wow. The chanting over the radio, and then he hits a home run. That's pretty dope. I think this one's viral. Oh wow. Beautiful swing. Beautiful swing. Has power. And it only gets stronger and bigger.
Yeah, so he did. I mean, he silenced them, and if you saw in the background, which
Wow.
again you had to kind of go back, maybe Greg, you
He's
can
got the
start again.
showmanship.
It's a great shot of what appears to be the pitching coach with his clipboard and the manager of the
Yeah,
team that
that's
pitched
what
to
happens
him.
when great
And it's
players
almost as if
are
he's saying,
taunted. They show you why they're great
did that?
players.
Like, why did
They
we
definitely
do
show you why
that?
they're great players.
But this is the overrated part, right?
Check the background of the 2 coaches after this ball leaves.
Beautiful
I think we
swing.
can elevate. Hey, I think we can elevate.
Here it is, background.
What are we doing?
Wow. Yeah, don't grab the bull by its
That pitch was
horns.
92 miles an hour. The
If
pitch
Drew
for
Jones
Jones
goes
going to
number
Georgia State.
2
That was like
to
real
the
talent. He was
Arizona
amazing. That
Diamondbacks.
wasn't, he faced some 82, 84 when I saw him this spring. That's not what that was.
But you can relate to this. Your dad was a Hall of Famer. Andrew Jones, kind of borderline, great player, Hall of Fame guy if he had a longer career.
Mariners have
What
won
is
14
the
games in a
challenge
row,
for Drew Jones?
tied with the
What
Braves
has
for the
he
longest
already
this season.
been over the
And
hurdle?
the Mariners are
Here's
red,
Rob
red
Manfred
hot
with the third
as
pitch.
well. Julio
Texas
Rodriguez
Rangers
probably going to win AL
select
Rookie of the Year
Kumar
potentially.
Rocker, a right-handed pitcher
And
from
the
Meriden,
Rangers take
Tennessee.
Kumar Rocker. What a
Pittsburgh
shocker here.
Pirates have the next selection.
Wow, out of
There we
Vanderbilt.
go.
Now the draft has started.
Kumar Rocker, who of course was the New York Mets selection last year, never was a contract offer made.
Rocker never had a
Reunited
contract from
with
the
Jack
Mets.
Leiter. Maybe they hire Tim Corbin. Maybe they bring back Johnson, who was once the pitching coach there.
Wow.
But Vanderbilt is now moving to Texas, and you reunite Jack Leiter with Kumar Rocker, 2 guys that were there to win a College World Series championship. He was hurt. There's no doubt about it. He pitched independent ball this
gives me
year.
CeCe
His velocity
Sabathia
was really
vibes.
good. This is a big surprise, I think, for a lot of people to see him go this high.
He went
Not
3.
a knock on his ability, but did you have him at number 3?
No, I mean, he went 10th last year because he couldn't get a spot higher than that for a suitable bonus. I was doing my mock draft today, and I ended up putting him 16th because I think that's roughly the area people thought he would go, maybe in the
Wow,
20s,
Rock
maybe
goes
over
3.
in the slot. We'll see.
Really
I
nice
don't
for
think
Leiter.
anybody had this happening.
That's the same sofa as last year, right? Again, it just seems like we were in the same spot. But how about this?
Wow.
We got Vandy going 1-2 again Friday and Saturday night starters. Now, soon, they're hoping that they can be in Arlington.
Man, I'm just happy for the kid. I mean, we
Yeah,
got a chance
I
to
like
run with
Rocker.
him. He was going through the college run, and what he did in 2 years at Vanderbilt, the success that he had, I mean, he was the most outstanding
He
player.
was
the
definitely
college
outstanding.
was
Like I say, it gives me CeCe
And then this
Sabathia
stuff happens
vibes.
with the
He's
Mets
just
last
right-handed.
year,
CeCe was
Any
left-handed.
knock on Kumar, it was unfortunate. Made a few changes. He
The
went out
Mets
and
should be
pitched
ashamed
in
themselves they
independent
couldn't get a
ball.
contract with this guy,
Velocity
man.
was ticked back up.
He
He
was.
was 96,
I think
97
he's
there
good.
with the
I
top
think
end.
he's pretty good.
And the slider is still as good a breaking pitch as there is in this entire draft. I'm happy
Pretty
for the
good.
kid. I'm
Breaking
happy for
ball,
the family.
good
His
slider.
brother, his dad, his mom Lou were sitting there with him.
Sheesh.
Yeah, this is
This
this
could
is
be
the way it's
something
supposed to work out
with Leiter.
sometimes. I like it.
No, I love the
And
pick too.
could
I
be in
think the
Arlington.
Rangers,
We'll
you
see.
think about it, it's a $7.6 million slot. Something tells me that they're not going there. But this is an arm that could pitch for them like this summer.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the sales
Got
pitch.
instant impact.
Yeah,
Sales
he'll
pitch
be
is
he'll
you go
be up
straight to the
real soon
bullpen,
in
double A,
Arlington.
triple A, big leagues immediately, and then next year you look into starting, you figure out what you got. But you definitely have a reliever right now.
All right, let's quickly give you a
They're
little
saying he can come in the
timeline
pitch
on
right now. I
Kumar
think so
Rocker.
too. I think so
I mean,
too.
the guy was going to the mound for Vanderbilt, and you'd think he could strike out 20 to 25 every night. He could throw a no-hitter every night. Last year, taken by
The
the
Mets
Mets, he
did make a
did not
contract
get a
offer. The Mets
contract
being goofy,
offer.
but they're still paying Bobby
Represented by
Bonilla. That
Scott
just shows you.
Morris. He underwent
Went shoulder surgery
in
last
September
year.
of 21. Kind of downplayed the significance of that. Again, 5
Played in the
appearances with the
independent league.
Tri-City Valley Cats of the Independent Frontier League. And he moves from 10th last year to 3 this
He's going to
year.
get his money. I
Break
think
him down.
Texas, as we've seen this
I mean,
offseason,
listen, he was-
paying Corey
he
Seager,
put him and Jack
paying
Leiter
Simeon.
together, and it was as good a 1-2 as we've seen in college baseball.
They're
The
going to put
slider,
out
this
bread.
is this
They
year,
have a new
so
stadium. They're
the
in
slider
Texas.
played, the
A
slider
lot of
still
red
plays. I
money
want you to
there,
watch
Republicans.
the arm
But
angle, though, because if you
we
saw
shall
Kumar
see what
last year,
happens.
that
I
angle
really
was a little
think
bit higher. He's dropped down
there's
to
potential
low
here
three
for
quarters.
them to
Gives him the ability
have
to
a
locate
guy
the fastball a little bit more down, and he can
who
move it
could,
in
like I
different
said, come in
spots.
and be a
I think that's the
reliever
one thing to watch when he
now.
gets into pro ball. Here's
Here's the
But-
difference. On the left was at Vanderbilt. The change on the right. Watch arm angle release. It's a big
We'll see.
difference on
We'll
the right.
see.
He dropped it way down.
We'll
Has
see.
not affected the top to bottom on the slider. I think probably makes that fastball play a little
5
bit.
starts this year, went 1-0, 1.35 ERA, 20 innings pitched, 32 strikeouts, only 4 walks. So, Kumar Rockman, like I said, they're going to try to possibly put him in the bullpen this year.
Pretty cool. He just got drafted by the same team that took Jack Leiter
No doubt.
last year.
Yeah, that's cool for
You
him.
got
I'm
those
sure.
two. I think it's cool for both of them. I mean, they were always 1-2-2. One didn't matter who
Jack
it was.
Leiter,
Now at some
they were
point,
1-2, 2-1 in the URX. Now he goes back with his former Vanderbilt team. They know how dominant they are in college baseball. Ooh, they could be a 1-2 punch for years to come. They took Jackson Holiday, Raj, son of Matt Holiday of the Cardinals and Yankees. Shortstop, left-handed. High school player of the year, Oklahoma, 18 years old.
3 or 4 picks, we might be talking about the
Like I
same
said,
thing.
shortstop, hits lefty, had the most hits ever in a high school season, 89, in like 40-something games. So, has the ability to hit the ball, make contact, power, has potential. I gave the pick a B. I gave it a B. But they're probably saving a little money on the front end and spend more on the back end as they've done in years prior, which we've seen in previous drafts with the Orioles as well. But they took Jackson Holiday at 1. Drew Jones went number 2, and Kumar Rocker went 3. Young CC, I compare him to, has the ability to come and possibly pitch for Texas, maybe this season in the bullpen, but could start next year.
So if you want to get him up there quick,
Could come in and be next year and be a guy you can see what you have in the bullpen and really potentially come back and
How quick did they make that pick? They
see.
knew they were picking Kumar a long time
And they
ago.
ran to the board as well.
surprised him. That's how quick they made it.
Well, and for the folks out there, like the whole deal with the Mets was the medical, right?
Yeah.
So
The Mets
they
didn't like the
released,
medical.
Scott Boras said it was a minor shoulder procedure.
And to be fair, he's back on the mound in 7 months, throwing 98 again.
That's right.
So it does appear to be minor.
So it looks like it was
Rangers
minor. He was back in
doctors,
7
but
months,
what they
throwing
saw,
98 miles per hour.
and
So
something tells me there was some
we
economics
shall
behind it, but it's a fascinating pick early in this draft.
A holiday.
Ty France will replace Mike Trout, as I said. Mike Trout out with back spasms again. Do the Angels blow it up? I don't think they trade Mike Trout. I don't think they trade Otani, but they need to do something. They are not good. And every year I think they're going to be good. They're not.
I would think to your point, I don't know if you were getting at it, but as busy as Scott Boras and his corporation
Spencer Torkelson is going back to AAA. Hitting 197 this season. He was the number 1 pick in the 2020 draft.
Just take him at 3. Without having, would maybe not be a complete deal, but they got a pretty good idea.
He's not going back to the Frontier League. That's for sure.
Yeah, they went to the board. Like I said, they could see this year maybe him. But there could be potential to see what happens here with the potential of Kumar Rocker with Jack Leiter and having that 1-2 punch. I actually like what they did.
And the reason I say that is because they're coming out of high school. And I think when you get into professional baseball coming out of high school, man, it's a different grind.
All right, here's the
Stepping right into real life.
And now the Pirates, picking at number 4, have that selection in. And let's see who it is.
Pittsburgh Pirates select Tamar Johnson.
And the Pittsburgh Pirates select Tamar Johnson. Mays High School in Georgia. Johnson goes 4. Probably maybe the best hitter in this draft. Maybe a generational type bat potentially and a second baseman. Going to Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh sure needs help in their farm system as well. 5'10", 175, 18 years of age. A lot of high school talent in this draft as we see.
is here. This was a kid that was brought up from the age of 3.
So we
swinging a
shall
baseball
see.
bat. 30 swings a day starting at age 3.
And I like Johnson. Thought he could have been an option for the Orioles at 1.
200 swings a day. His dad was incredibly influential, and then his 3 older brothers would throw pitches to him that he would deem somewhat unfair, but they were not going to take the foot off the gas.
So Johnson
and all
goes
of that is rewarded as
number
he puts
4,
on a
hit 390 in his
Pittsburgh
last high school
as the 4th
seasons.
overall pick
As he
in
puts
the
on the
2022
Dons, the Pirates
Major League
jersey.
Baseball first-year player draft. What a moment.
What a moment. Again,
He was on the 18 under national team.
that jersey. But think about this. Will he stick now at short? Because there's a guy 6'7" there in Pittsburgh called O'Neal Cruz that might be paired up with a 5'8" future shortstop that has a lot of pop.
Maybe, yeah, or second baseman.
The Washington Nationals. I don't think he's going to stick it short. I think you're going to see him at second base.
Johnson needs to be second.
Swing at the bat, Kylie.
So they got some good
After CJ
guys
Abrams
in the infield as well.
The high school player out of the Atlanta area in 2019, I started asking area scouts, who's the next guy? And they all said, oh, he's a sophomore in high school, but it's this guy. This is the guy. They said he might look like CJ Abrams. Doesn't quite look like him physically, but he got there on the field. I think he might be a better prospect than he was at
Johnson,
time.
highly touted.
So
Another
if you don't know
left-hander
much about
as well.
Smart Johnson, this should give you what you need right here. Now wait. There you go. All right, you got it. For me, this is Rafael Devers. Now, my question in the summer was that hand move on the first swing was a little too big. I thought he was going to get blown up inside by 95. Saw him all summer. I'm in Atlanta. He's in Atlanta. Watch this move. He clears his hand so fast here in this slow-mo swing. He took 94 over the fence foul. He cleared it too fast. And that's what it was all summer and all spring.
Getting Rafael Devers comparisons. Interesting.
Based on each swing. Here's when I saw Rafael Devers when he was 18. That's what he looked like. Looks really similar to me. Smart's a little bit shorter. I think it's second base and third base, a little different, but they got a little bit of that same sauce, too. If we're making a list of the guys that I'm higher on,
Nationals on the clock at number 5.
My guy.
The great part about Tamar Johnson, to the bat flip point, when he was asked about maybe being selected by the Orioles, if they went with him 1-1, he was asked, so what does it mean for the Orioles? The answer was, it means Baltimore gets a ring in a couple of years. So he plays with a lot of that swagger.
Johnson has the swag. Goes to Pittsburgh, and looks like he could be a second baseman. Maybe even move to third if possible, but he'll probably be a second baseman as well. Like I said,
how challenging is it to develop the secondary defensive tool?
I don't think that'll be a problem. Like in the showcase circuit, he's played some second base. The hands move, the body moves.
Nationals only have the 26th best farm system. They're in a rebuild. They need to probably try to trade Soto if he isn't going to sign long term. Maybe see if they can get 4 or 5 guys. He's still young. They could probably get 3 or 4 top 10 prospects and probably get some mid-level guys as well. What would you do if you're the Nationals? Let me know in the comments. But a guy rejecting $440 million from you? Jesus Christ, what are you doing to make him not want to take that kind of money that you pretty much handed to him on a silver platter? Jesus Christ, but he is basically saying trade me, and we'll see. Will they trade him this year? Probably not. Will they trade him all season? Well, we don't know. But the Nationals need some serious help. They're kind of switched places with the Orioles, and the Orioles are now kind of playing a little bit better and starting to turn their corner in. They're on the way up, and the Nationals on the way down, if I do say so myself.
Hit power in the high school class. He's going to be the best hit power at the end of this entire class. Let's not make it complicated, guys. We're trying to find good baseball players. And he's been doing it for 3 years. There's no secrets here.
He's a guy who can hit and maybe the best hitter in his class
He also
as
made a
well.
promise to his mom, Kim, and his grandparents that he would get a degree in business management once baseball is over. Like, his feet are on the ground, and his brothers and his dad,
that's
his
good.
mom,
That's good. He's the best hitter in this draft,
extended family
and
and
we
make sure he
shall
keeps it there.
see
Jeff?
what happens.
Yeah, here with Tamar Johnson, the number 4 pick in the draft, going to the Pittsburgh Pirates. We saw some tears of joy there, Tamar. How does this
Johnson
feel?
now with
It was
passing.
amazing. I just see the start of something new.
It's good to see a brother of color, a black young man, getting drafted this high in the baseball draft. We need more brothers playing baseball. They're athletic, they're talented, they have the ability, and good to see him here going to number 4, and I hope he is successful in playing with Pittsburgh. O'Neal Cruz, 6'7", Tobias Cruz for the Pirates. They got some good players.
I see myself as the next shortstop, honestly, and I'm going to work hard to, get there. And I know they're going to put me in the best position to be the next shortstop there.
A lot of confidence too from this guy Uzi.
I like to see myself as the captain of the team, and I can see
He wants to be the captain, wants to see the field, so we shall see as well. So they got some good players.
I'm here for it. I'm here to win a ring, and whatever position they can put me in, for me to win a ring, I will.
Whether it is shortstop or second base, we know one thing, Rappy, Tamar Johnson will hit.
Every part of that answer was beautiful. The idea that he said, I'm going to play shortstop, bro, is great. And then whatever the organization wants, they're going to put me and this organization in the best position. Brilliant answer.
Soto, speaking of Soto, hit his 20th home run today, hitting 400 with 5 home runs, 10 RBIs in his last 10 games. I guess that motivated him to deny that money as well.
To your peers and also listen to the people that have gone before you and be able to execute with that.
But let me know what you guys think about the Orioles pick, the Rangers, what do you think about the Pirates, the Diamondbacks,
I love the pick.
Nationals on the clock as well.
What's more important than a hit tool in today's game? And it's not just hit.
And the hit tool is probably the most important thing in today's Major League Baseball game, as we're saying. It's not about the home run or the long ball. It's about being able to hit the ball, make contact, and get on base.
You know, you have Johnson on the same team as O'Neal Cruz, Brian Hayes. If
So
Brian
we
Reynolds stays
shall
there,
see.
now, this is the 4th time in 5 years that they picked in the top 10. They're kind of tired of picking in the top 10. They'd like to see that trend probably stop. Congratulations to Termarr Johnson, who joins Rocker Jones and Jackson Holiday, our first
So
4
the
picks of this
Nationals
2022
are on the
Major
clock,
League Baseball first-year player draft.
and followed by the
Marlins
Miami
are on deck.
Marlins, and then the Chicago Cubs at 7. Chris Sale suffers a broken pinky on the comeback, and Chris Sale cannot stay healthy. Hurt guys stay hurt. But Jordan Lyles got roughed up today. 2 2/3, 6 innings. Odor hit his 10th home run. Hayes hit his 12th home run as well. So Odor and Hayes maybe could both have over 20 home runs a season. Corey Kluber 6 innings pitched, 4 earned. Brandon Lowe 4 for 4, double and a run.
The new Subway series.
And Tampa now has won 6 out of the last 7, and Rosarena with his 12th home run as well. Tampa is the number 1 wild card, and it is the Mariners at number 2. And Ramirez suffered a broken thumb for the Braves, did he? After being hit by a pitch as well. Tigers and Guardians were postponed as they will play a doubleheader on August 15th. And what are you guys looking forward to seeing as well with the home run derby tomorrow and the All-Star game? And Nola, 8 1/3, 0 earned, 10 Ks, 8 straight start with 7 innings pitched. They swept the Marlins first time since 2010. Philly's playing better as of late as well, especially since getting a new manager and getting rid of Joe Girardi. You look, still some good players on the board as well. Do the Nationals go catcher here? Possibly. Do they go another position player? Let me know. Nationals just need help. White Sox beat the Twins 11-0. 41 runs in the last 5 games versus Minnesota. Juan Mercado hits his 5th home run of the year. Killed a double. Has 2 RBIs as well. Vaughn hit his 10th home run for the White Sox. Harrison hit his 4th. Vaughn went 3 for 4 with a double, by the way, and 2 ran home run with 3 RBI. Mariano hit his 9th home run. Vogt hit his 9th home run as well.
About 30 miles with no cell phone towers. You can't get gas and Quicksilver. Get in, get out.
But I am, like I said, speaking of looking at the draft so far, Orioles with a Jackson Holiday pick, I give it a B. Drew Holiday to the Diamondbacks, I give it a B+. Kumar Rocker to the Texas Rangers, I would give that a B+ as well. And then this recent pick, I'm going to give a B+ as well for Johnson to the Pirates. So we'll see as well.
There's tons of different directions that I could take here at
A
the
lot of high school, a lot of young talent here, as I mentioned. Didn't think any pitcher was going in the top 10. They had Rocker in the middle of around 15, 16. Rocker goes.
Capital One because we earn unlimited 2% cash back on every purchase.
Rockies, the Rockets, Rocker goes 3. Didn't think any pitcher was going in the top 10, 15. He was drafted last year as well. So we shall see as the Nationals are. Looks like their pick is in as well.
Where we are located here at LA Live, and the pick apparently has already been in, so we will get that.
Jackson Holiday, Drew Jones, Kumar
Right
Rocker.
now, the top of the board looks like that. Jackson Holiday, the son of Matt Holiday, went 1 overall. Then Drew Jones, son of Andrew Jones.
So the Orioles only have 1 pick. The compensation picks are the Rockies and Reds.
And now Termarr Johnson just gets picked second base / shortstop. All right, so what are we looking at here with this pick? What are we going to think the Nationals
Let's
do?
see what the Nationals do.
The Nationals have a long history, including last year's pick of Brady House, going for the most wild upside pick, the biggest variance they can find. That's what they want. They've been tied to some guys like that all spring. We didn't know if they'd get there.
So that would
Kevin
be
Parada
Elijah
might be
Green.
my pick here.
That's the guy that I bought into this morning. We'll see if I got it.
So you had Elijah Green going to the Washington Nationals. The Nationals, of course,
Elijah
have been in the
Green,
news
center
lately,
fielder.
given that Juan Soto allegedly turned down $440 million.
With the 5th pick in the 2022 MLB Draft, the Washington Nationals select Elijah Green,
They take
an
Elijah Green
outfielder
out of IMG Academy, center fielder.
Bradenton, Florida.
Nationals like to go for high
The
upside
Miami
guys,
Marlins have the next pick.
and they did it
So with
here
that
again. It
pick,
looks like
basically the top 4 high school position players, Jones, Green, Holiday, and Johnson, have all come off the board. When you're talking about the Nationals,
Elijah Green, 6'3", 18 years old, 225. Bats right, throws right. This could be a B+ pick for him.
It's the loudest tools in the draft. Like it's 70 raw power, 70 runners, 70 thrower. If you talk about a guy that can literally do it
Has
all
the
from a
tools.
physical
Has the
standpoint.
tools.
Now the problem is the bat probably has a little ways to go from a swing and miss standpoint. But you
So he doesn't make eye contact, but there's a lot of potential for a lot of swing and misses. But when he hits that ball, it's going to go far.
16 years old 2 summers ago. He is still the most physically talented 16-year-old baseball player I have ever seen. He has the highest upside in this
6'3".
draft, even a little
Max
above Drew
Preps
Jones for me.
All-American.
Here's a swing from when he was
Might
16.
have better
Went
upside
bananas
than
that
Drew
whole
Jones,
summer.
they
Now
say.
here he is the next year as a junior in high school. Here's the slow-mo to get an idea of where all this power is coming from. He's built like a tight end for a reason. His dad, Eric, was NFL tight end.
Yeah,
And just
has
watch
the
the
build of a
explosion
football
here in the
player. So
core. He's hitting balls 109, 110. He's having no stride hitting the ball 110 this summer off of J.R. Ritchie, who might go today. Will probably go today. Takes him dead central. That's Drew Jones in center
Marlins on the
field.
clock as well
He hit
after
the
Elijah Green
catwalk
is taken.
in Tropicana Field during BP. Here's a home run in a game there. There's a 109 on a monsoon in Florida this spring. Here's one where he doesn't even lift his leg up and he hits the ball 108. Like, there's almost nothing this guy can't do.
He has, looks like the
He had the worst
strongest
swing and miss rates of any first-round pick the last 3 summers.
tools,
That's the
but has a
concern.
lot of
Now,
swing and
he
miss
wasn't
rates
quite as
as
good as you
well.
want him to be contact-wise
Garrett
this
Cole
spring.
struck out 12
He
today.
improved down the
Yankees on
stretch.
fire,
If
man.
you want to believe it that he's
Yankees
going
may
to be a
be
50 hitter,
clear-cut the best team in the NL. I don't know who's going to beat them, but we'll
6'3",
cross that bridge when we get there. I'm not
200
going to lie.
plus, strong arm as well. And if there's some swing and miss in there to go with that power,
But yeah, let me know
perfect for the
in the
Major League
comments.
Baseball
Like I
game
said,
we're
I get the
playing
Orioles
right
a B on
Look,
that pick.
we've heard it before. We heard it from Judge, and he got better. The bottom line is he is now going to go to an organization that can teach him, and he better listen well to how to be
Miami
able to
Marlins have the
understand how he
7th
gets set up.
best
If he understands
farm
what
system
pitchers and
in the
other
major
teams are trying to
leagues.
do against
The
him,
Mesa
he
brothers are
will
down there.
be smart enough to make those adjustments. The athleticism is all there. The quickness is all there. The strength is there. To me, it just comes down to repetition and being able to be a student of the game. And if he's capable of doing it, this kid could be an impact bat at the major league level soon.
there's a lot of teams last year that took a lot of pitchers. In fact, one took 20 pitchers in the 20 rounds. The
Sheesh.
Nationals went with 8 position players in their 10 picks last year. I
20
think the Soto
pitchers?
thing is really fascinating because Juan Soto, if you had heard what the news is lately, he's allegedly turned down a $440 million 15-year offer.
15-year deal,
If in fact
140
they
million,
make a deal
29
for him,
million,
Jeff Passan, they're
29
going to
million.
get like 5 or 6 guys back for him. You start to think about the youth movement that may also occur there, and you can kind of see the other side of the coin when everybody's focused on losing Soto and what a disaster that might be.
Yeah, and the important thing to notice here is that
Talking
there
about
are
possibly
very few
trading
teams
Soto.
out there, Ravi, that have enough guys to actually go and get Juan Soto. You can look at the San Diego Padres, maybe the St. Louis Cardinals, New York
Padres,
Mets,
Cardinals,
New
Mets,
York Yankees.
Yankees
There are
going
not a
out
lot
to
of
get
teams
Soto.
that have the depth in their minor league system to trade that many players, which is what Washington's going to want. And when you have a farm system that in recent years has struggled like the Nationals, they're trying
Nationals
to
need some
rebuild it
depth
with
in their farm
Vaquero, with
system,
House,
and
now with
not
Elijah
many
Green.
teams have the depth in their
Trading
minor
Juan
league
Soto
system
would
to
certainly
get with
accelerate that
Nationals.
process.
Nationals are looking
And one
for
other side note, too,
in
the new CBA, generally when you finish with
annual
the worst
return.
record in baseball, you would get the number 1 pick. Next year, there's a lottery. So even if you have the worst record, it hardly guarantees that you're going to get
correct.
the first
It
pick.
is a
So
lottery
the Nationals
next
believe
year
they strike here
in
with somebody like
Major League Baseball under the
Elijah,
new
who's
collective
got all of
bargaining
his
agreement. So
talent
even
and
if you have the
skill.
worst record,
It's really interesting to see with the backdrop
there's
of what the
no
Nationals are doing.
guarantee
And Mike
that you will get the number 1
finds
pick.
guys. I mean,
And
one thing he
teams
does really
now,
well is find guys.
whether they were tanking or
His
not, you
department
can't
does a
tank
great job.
because
They
it
put
doesn't
more money
guarantee
into
you necessarily
scouting
the
this
number
year
1
than
pick
they
in the
ever have.
draft. Much like we see in the NBA, these ping pong balls or however they're going to do the lottery is not an exact science. And usually the team that loses the most doesn't always get the number 1 pick, especially in the NBA, as we've seen. So
you look at other stuff and you go, man, I don't know if it's going to work. That's right. Yeah.
that's the
We're talking about
crazy part
somebody's
about
going to
it.
get $6 million, 17 or 18 years old. It is really hard to be right in this. And I think it's harder to be right when it's guys that show you some really good stuff and they show you some
Byron
other stuff
Buxton
you're
will
not sure
start
about.
in place of Trout at the All-Star game. Love that name.
Is now in.
With the 6th pick of the 2022 MLB Draft, the
Miami
Miami
Marlins
Marlins
selection is
select
in.
Jacob Berry,
They
a
take
third
Jacob
baseman
Berry.
from LSU. The
Have
Chicago
LSU,
Cubs
and the
have the
Cubs
next
are
pick.
on the clock.
So we go to college position player.
We have
and
college
we find
position
one
player,
of the more
21 years of age,
mature,
6 foot,
plate
212.
disciplined guys
Switch hitter,
who
throws
took
right.
his talents Pac-12 to the SEC. And this is just a guy that can hit. This is an organization with the J.J. Bledays and others. You can see what Kim Ng is building there.
Yeah, no, look, I think Jacob Berry's certainly right there with Brooks Lee is the safest bat. I don't know how high you dream on him, but it's
Berry
it's a
is
switch
coming
hitter
from
that has
LSU, so
hit
we'll see.
everywhere he's been.
We'll see. He's a
And
hitter.
the thing you love about him is that it's from both
MLB
sides
trying
of
to
the
favorite
plate.
guys
Right
for
now,
first 10
we'll
picks
get
here.
into it here in a
Thanks for
second
joining me
with
tonight here on
the
MLB
defensive,
Draft pick
but
by
you see
pick
the bat here, left-handed,
position
right-handed.
here.
It's
I'll
a
recap
very
the picks
simple
in
move.
just a second. Make sure you hit that
The
bell.
whole
Make sure you hit that
field
like
from both
button
sides of play.
for all
And just watch, there's not a whole lot
notifications
going
as
wrong,
well.
right? Load into your backside, get centered up, and then get the barrel A to B. Like, and when you hear him talk, it's a
He
very
was a
mature,
college
very simple,
baseball
very
freshman,
professional approach. Now,
All-American as
the
well, and
question
comes from
mark
a
is
good
the
athletic
defense, right?
background
He wanted to
at
play third
LSU.
base. Jay Johnson, who he came with from Arizona,
On the
gave him a
page,
chance to play
third
third
base.
base. We've seen him in right field.
Can play
It's
right
free
field.
G in
Position
both
versatility
places.
is
So
good.
you're buying
Marlins
a bat.
drafting
You're
a lot
hoping you get
of
enough defense. But the good news with
hitters.
Jacob Berry is it's a at best it's an everyday
So the
regular.
first pick,
But even
Jackson
the
Holiday,
floor
son
is
of
still a
seven-time
good
All-Star
thing.
Matt Holiday,
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a guy
is
that was
committed to
fringy
Oklahoma State.
defensively and bat first. It didn't go this early, but got
Drew
drafted a
Jones,
few
son
years
of
ago.
five-time
He's
All-Star
gonna be the
Andrew
home run
Jones,
derby
hit
again
570
tomorrow.
in
And that's Pete
2022.
Alonso. Like Pete Alonso, when you watched him in college, granted, his first base, it's not third base of the outfield, but
Kumar
Alonso
Rocker,
was not a great
independent
defender
league,
when he was in
didn't
college.
sign
The
after
biggest
being drafted by the
question, okay, I
Mets
think he's gonna
in
hit. Where's he
2021
play?
due to the
Well,
medical,
it's been
but
good
he's
enough,
back in
obviously,
70
the
months,
bat
throwing damn
just
near
worked
100
really well.
miles
That's
per
the only
hour.
question. The bat plays.
Yeah, I would say
Jamar
there's a difference.
Johnson,
Alonso's more
taken by the
power over
Pirates,
bat, and Berry's maybe more bat over power.
preseason
But I agree
All-American
with
first
that.
team,
How about
Arizona
the
State
Berry? I
commit,
mentioned you showed it
but
perfectly
he
there.
is
I
going to
love
Pittsburgh.
hitters that don't move their
Marlins
hands when they come in. They are so
just
consistent.
made their
One thing he
selection,
does,
and we have the
he is
Cubs
consistent
with the
with the hands,
16
but
ring farm
importantly,
system
he understands
on
that
the
strike zone.
clock
It's
as
only
well.
going to get better. He went from the PAC to the SEC, and now he's going to go to Pro Ball, where eventually, once he gets to the big league
Then
level,
after the Cubs,
he's
we have
going
the
to end up
Twins,
just
Orioles.
mashing. And now with the National League not having the DH,
And National League does have a DH. That's a good thing to think about as well when drafting these guys. You could have guys who are drafted and can play DH in the National League as well.
Yesterday. Let's get some more from Jess on this guy.
Oh, this is a kid that grew up in Arizona, dreaming of one day playing at the University of Arizona. He did that. Then when he was there, he wanted to go to Omaha, play the College World Series, did that,
Rockies
transferred
picked
to
10.
LSU following his coach. He talked to me about that path.
Jacob Berry was
Talk about
picked by
your
the
first
Marlins
memories
as
playing
well.
the game and kind of the early influences in your life.
Growing up, I remember playing T-ball, hitting the ball off the tee, and running around all the bases. Just kind of play the game as a kid still, in my opinion. I mean, one of the coolest memories I think I'll ever have. And, I mean, I got to go to the College World Series as freshman last year at Arizona and playing in front of
Angels
thousands of
picking
fans at
13th,
LSU
middle of the
every
road.
weekend was unbelievable and something I'll never forget, to be honest with you.
How do you become a
Cubs
switch
pick
hitter?
is in.
So my dad played a little bit, and he had a hard time with breaking balls and kind of off speeds. So his logic was spin them around, and at least the breaking stuff will come into him.
You're in the majors tomorrow.
Still got
Who would
Brooks
you want to
Lee.
face in 2022 that's the best?
I mean, I would love to face DeGrom and Scherzer when they're healthy.
What are some of the things that you do love to do away from the baseball
Guardians
field?
picking
Kind of
16th.
everything outdoors. I mean, I try to stay a little simple life and do simple things. And I mean, hunting and fishing kind of gets me back to the basics. We used to go out on the lake all the time, and I just remember.
So the Cubs pick is in. We shall see. As I mentioned, 16th ranked farm system.
Fish. I just love being out there. I mean, it seems like every time I go back there, it's something that I really enjoy and will always continue to do, hopefully.
One of those fish you saw when he was a little kid, a 7-pound bass, by the way, they caught in Mexico. He's also one of the older siblings. He's got 2 younger sisters, a younger brother. Both his sisters play softball. One might end up at Stanford. He said his younger brother's going to be even better than him, plays ball. He'll be a freshman next year. So he's been a huge influence, not only on the guys he plays with, but also his own family.
Right. Thank you, Jess, very much. So they took Khalil Watson, the Marlins, high school shortstop, and catcher Joe Mack last year, the catcher from upstate New York. There are a couple of catchers here that they could have gone with. Maybe this is a endorsement for Mack, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but Watson is showing a little immaturity. Is that a reason maybe we go with a collegiate?
Sure, there are definitely teams where if something doesn't go well one year, the next year they take the different thing. I think also the Marlins think they're close to competing, being competitive. The top of their farm system is all in the upper minors. They're all getting close. They got to go on the 40-man soon. I think trying to build that wave even stronger for me, Barry is the best right now in approach power combo in the draft. And
winnable NL East, in my opinion.
All right, as we get the commissioner moving
towards the Braves, Phillies.
On deck. We've just heard a rendition of Chicago and the Cubs, and here he comes.
With the 7th pick of the 2022 MLB Draft, the Chicago Cubs select Cade Horton, a right-handed pitcher from the University of Oklahoma.
Taken by the Cubs, right-handed pitcher out of Oklahoma. And Twins on the clock.
Well, what was that number you gave about the last pitcher being selected with 7th overall? And here we are at the number 7. And Cade Horton, who we all saw during the trip to Omaha in the College World
20
Series,
years old, 6'1".
maybe the same way that Bednar did last year with Mississippi State. Horton just flew onto the radar and up these draft boards.
About a month before Omaha, I was here, and he was a target in the late 2nd, early 3rd round. By the end of Omaha, as he's going in the middle of the 1st. And yesterday morning, I was told Cubs have interest at 7. That's the first team with interest. He'll go by 12 or 13. So here we are. The Cubs seem to be pretty excited about this one.
At 7, and he will be gone by 12 or 13.
I mean, that's part of it. He was also playing position and getting at bats. And so
he's
way young from a pitch ability standpoint. He hasn't been out there very much.
As a fastball.
Right, so we're talking mid-90s fastball. He's 96, 97 in Omaha, especially early. That had that good carry. This is what just made him $4 million, though. He literally started throwing the slider in the Big 12 tournament this year.
He started throwing in the Big 12 tournament this year.
The slider was where he was getting all the swing and miss, or so much of the swing and miss. When we were in Omaha, we had him a few times there.
And he played big in big moments.
Those 2 games said, you know
after
what?
the tournament, 2.61 ERA after 7.94, 0.84 whip after 1.94, 6 strikeouts per 9 innings to 14.2, 15% swing and misses to 38% as well. Just began throwing the slider this past Big 12 tournament as well. So that's very, very interesting.
He learned it from a teammate at the Big 12 tournament. Went, you know what? I think I'm going to try that.
Because I was a curveball before, but I would say too. Like,
So he pitched Oklahoma. Looks like he has done a good job with that as well.
High school quarterback and a 2-way player at Oklahoma. So you're buying a really high level of athlete. So you figure he can figure the changeup out probably as you go. Like, to me, Cade Horton is a slam dunk 2, 3, 4 starter in the big leagues.
So Cade Horton projects as a top of the rotation, middle rotation guy.
Just because the bulk innings isn't there, but talent-wise, I think they got themselves a real.
Well, I mean, look, the one thing we've learned in this game, maybe more than any other aspect with all the analytics, is you can take a raw pitcher and develop them using all sorts of machines and equipment and technology. The tools don't rate 70s; they rate in the mid-50s. There's a
tools aren't rating well, but he looks like he has potential.
He jumped 2 rounds in the last month of the college season. He was the first second-round type talent going into the pandemic-short 2020 season. He didn't get a spring, and scouts knew he had a big number because the quarterback, Oklahoma, 2-way. They just didn't get to see him. He didn't get that chance, and then blew out after having a huge fall going to Oklahoma. Right. This is all in the trajectory he was on before. That's why it's not shocking he came out of nowhere. This is what you thought he was going to be. You just had that interruption with the pandemic and the TJ, but he picked up right where he left off and then learned the new slider on top of it. For me, there's some swing and miss elements missing to the fastball. The slider's so good, reminds me of Chris Archer. He's going to throw a lot of sliders.
Nice big book, Chris Archer as well.
He's an athlete that's going to throw strikes.
You got a thought there? I saw a man go up.
He had a 5.5 ERA with a month and a half to go in the college season. That's really all you had to go off of. I mean, he saw stuff, but he had a 5.5 ERA.
I'll tell you what I've learned the last 2 years.
We got
Omaha's important. Omaha matters.
With the draft being a third weekend,
no doubt.
It's a really, really big deal now.
Absolutely. You know what else? And you know what also matters is pitching in that
Twins are
division.
on the clock, as I mentioned,
That
as
division,
well.
if you have pitching, you have a chance to win. The Milwaukee Brewers are proof of that.
We'll come back. Teams are continuing to now see what happened in the first 7 picks and how it affects them. Rocco Baldelli, the Minnesota Twins, Carlos Correa, who will they be adding to their organization?
Let's see
We're
who
in
they
Los
add
Angeles,
as well.
and this is the 2022 Major League Baseball Draft on ESPN.
Twins.
The new brown sugar cream cold brew keeps it calm, cool, and cold brewed all summer long. And it's topped with a brown sugar cold foam.
Let me know you guys' thoughts on the draft so far and who you like, you didn't like drafting, teams that you support or not. Let me know as well. Make sure you hit that like button as well.
If one hits a DraftKings Sportsbook target, we'll give away up to 3 trips to the 2022 World Series presented by Capital One. Just join the free pool to enter. Plus, new customers in Sportsbook states can bet just $5 on the Derby to get $150, no matter what. So head to the app, enter the promo code, join the free pool for a chance to win 2022 World Series tickets, and get in on the action with an official partner of Major League Baseball.
Selling a home is
So we have
expensive and
the
stressful.
Twins on the
So
clock,
we created
and
our
the
smart
pick
seller
is
system
in as well.
to
The
sell
kind
your
of
home
commercial
for
break
top
as well.
dollar and save you thousands in commissions.
I was amazed at the fact that my house sold in one day. Ideal agents saved me in the neighborhood of 20 to 25,000.
So let's see what happens as we remember the top 10.
Was as easy as it gets. They are the #1 way to sell your house. Our service is free, available nationwide, and there's zero obligation. Call us today or visit idealagent.com.
This feeling of certainty comes from inspiring your customers and expressing heartfelt thank yous with promotional products people love from the experts at 4imprint. Enjoy that feeling of certainty at 4imprint. 4imprint, for certain.
Hitting the road without T-Mobile makes as much sense as taking a family road trip in a covered wagon. Are we going to have coverage on this trip? Oh, we'll be covered. T-Mobile 5G covers more highway miles in America, leaving Verizon in
But waiting for the Twins to make that pick here. Make sure you guys tap and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell as well.
more 5G bars in more places. Another reason T-Mobile is the leader in 5G.
You're about to hit a stretch of about 30 miles with no cell phone towers. You can't get gas in Quicksilver.
Get in, get out of there.
We save souls from eternal damnation. That's what Sin Agers do.
Let me know what you guys think about the pick so far. What do you think about the the Orioles pick as well, and what they've done at the top of the draft here as well. As we are hitting through the top 10 here in the Major League Baseball draft.
Hi, John and Jeannie Goldbeck here from Window World with Kendra and our new fur kids, Smooch and Rosie. Right now, get 6 windows and a patio door for only $69.83 or as low as $143 a month.
This is Antonelli's Cheese Shop, and we're the Antonellis.
We chose our Spark Cash Plus card from Capital One because we earn unlimited 2% cash back on every purchase.
Let's see here. Still here with you guys live.
Nice, sir.
But we are here watching the 2022 MLB Draft live on the Flex On Podcast. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that bell for all notifications as well. Let me know your thoughts as well. And what you guys think about this as the Twins select Brooks Lee, shortstop, out of Cal Poly as well. As the Royals are on the clock.
Switch hitter, killed it on the Cape Cod League.
Switch hitter.
And you take a look at the first round picks that have come out of Cal Poly. There have been some
John
successes
Orton,
there.
Garrett Olson, Mitch Hannon.
Garrett Olson, John Orton, and you add Brooks Lee. The same way that the Holidays and the Jones have baseball in their blood.
21 years of age, Big West Conference Coalfield Player of the Year.
Maybe on a high school had some back issues, decided to go to Cal Poly, and you talked about that he killed it on the Cape Cod, but it's not a great level of college baseball that he played for the last couple of years, but hit over 400 at the Cape. When you watch him play, it is smooth power in the middle infield, right? You don't get that. At second or third, I think the body
to second or third.
Will play at that level too. Smart kid, production. He's got more extra base hits than strikeouts.
So more extra base hits than strikeouts. That's darn good.
Something you say very often. More extra base hits than strikeouts.
Definitely don't see that often as well.
Berkey mentioned there was that back injury. It was he's
than strikeouts.
Definitely don't see that often.
And he might play. And there's enough. And it just depends on what kind of team, what are they looking for. This is the less exciting, but perfectly fine version of it. Average everyday guy will move quickly, you're going to get a return, whereas Elijah Green, completely different profile, and it just depends on what kind of team, what are they looking for. This is the less exciting, but perfectly fine version of it.
So is it fair to say, I mean, they're all works in progress. We're all works in progress. But the high school guys, there's more to work with because it's raw. It's more raw. Yes. Where these guys, that level here to the ceiling is smaller. Is that fair to say?
And the athleticism out of high school is going to be 2 notches better. The college guys, they got passed over out of high school, and in most cases it's because they weren't quite athletic enough. So you're getting more performance, more skills over tools, whereas in high school you're getting more tools over skills.
You got a few big keys that he has in his favor. One, he has big, strong hands. And when he has that combined with great plate discipline and breaking ball recognition, he keeps those hands back. All the videos I had seen off him was he understands the breaking ball and understands how to be able to catch it out in front and keep it there and create damage. Because he's able to do that, I think the
what's going on, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're talking about the MLB Draft here. Just breaking down the picks here as the Kansas City Royals are on the clock.
I think Brooks Lee, to me, Brooks Lee and Jacob Berry's
They're drafting Brooks Lee.
I think Brooks Lee is a slam dunk defender on the dirt.
And so from that standpoint, I think the Twins got themselves a really nice pick.
Can you quantify what it was like? Because Lee, while his dad didn't necessarily play Major League Baseball, he's another one of these kids that grew up in a baseball clubhouse.
Yeah, I mean, Larry Lee's been the head coach at Cal Poly for 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been around the game for a long time. Was at Cuesta College before that. And it was interesting. I saw an interview between the two of them.
Coming up as well.
And just talking about the times that he had to be
Royals,
dad,
Rockies, Mets.
And what that back and forth was the whole way. But what was abundantly clear when you watched it was the level of respect that Brooks had for his dad from a baseball standpoint. So clearly, you're going to respect your father. But the way that he was from a baseball standpoint.
And the Royals pick is in.
Let's see what they select here. MLB Draft. The Kansas City Royals select Gavin Cross.
Gavin Cross, outfielder from Virginia Tech at number 9. The Rockies are on the clock at number 10. Then I'll probably get ready to get out of here, everybody.
Royals were one of the teams that appeared seriously interested in a pitcher, but instead it's the support system of Gavin Cross that gets the call here at number 9 from the Kansas City Royals. When you talk about Gavin Cross, he was really a breakout star in 2021 And boy, did he start
Cross
showing power
21,
in 22.
6'3",
He was in the middle of
210
an
pounds.
outstanding lineup for Team USA last summer with Brooks Lee, Jacob Berry, Chase Young, who we'll hear soon. He's a little different from the other guys because he can play a passable center field. He's
Let me know
deceptively
you guys'
good there.
thoughts
He
on the
might be able
first
to hang
round of
around
the
there for a
MLB
little
Draft.
bit.
Anybody
What
you
you're
like,
buying
anybody you
is a
didn't like?
bat with some power, and it's probably going to play right field, but he's above average on all three of those. Some similarities to Jay Bleday, but I think a little more raw power with Gavin Cross.
So break him down.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing about Gavin Cross is where he holds his hands are low, but he has the ability not only to catch up the high velo up top, but also to recognize and use his legs and go down.
Hits to all parts of the field, it looks like. Yeah,
You've
all
seen him
parts
go
of the field.
full side. You've seen him go also right center. He can go center field with you. And if it's down
So
or
we
away,
had Holiday,
he can use those
Jones,
legs,
Rocker,
go down and get it and drive it to left
Tamar
field.
Johnson.
Great hand-eye coordination. Again, the bat control is going to give him a chance to be a plus hitter at the major league level.
Big kid. I saw Robin Ventura when I saw that swing. I mean, that's
Elijah
right.
Green to the
I saw
Nationals.
Ventura, the lefty. So, Cross, we're getting into a little period here where we're going with college position and pitchers.
I'm looking at my board. It's all college hitters. This is the juncture we're going to sort through those guys. Every single team you think, oh, they're college. They got stats at a D1 level. They got the K for Team USA. They're all going to be in the same area. But the problem is,
for the Rockies, and I'll get ready to get out of here, folks. And I'll see you guys tomorrow as well. But let me know what you think about the picks for the Orioles. Taking Jackson Holiday, #1, left-handed hitting shortstop, most hits in college baseball history in a single season. The '89 breaking JT Realmuto's record as well. We got the Rockies on the clock, picking with the 15th ranked farm system as well.
And because of that, he had Virginia Tech as a top 8 seed, a chance to play in Omaha. Like, Virginia Tech doesn't have a whole lot of recent history.
That's right.
Him and Tanner Schobel have really carried that program to another level. So you got a winner, you got consistent production, you got a kid who got a chance to stick in center field.
So help us in basketball. If you're a 7-footer, you know that you're not now a back to the basket guy, but you're a center. In baseball, you get to college and they move you all around. You could be a first baseman one year, center fielder the next year, pitcher the next year. When you get into professional baseball, are you still not locked into a position? Are you still so malleable you just move around?
Better be. Well, better be. Yeah, yes.
Exclusive of pitchers.
I mean, there's some that are a little bit different, but I think the other thing is that versatility. I mean, you guys see this in the games you do.
All
the
over
ability to be versatile ultimately. Yeah.
See who the Rockies pick here at number 10.
I think it increases value on the front end. There are the premier defensive positions, clearly, and those guys you want to stick there. But aside from that, versatility is huge.
Definitely versatility in baseball is very, very huge.
Have dropped right into their laps. Think about it. Zach Bean in 2020, Benny Montgomery in 2021. There's no Elijah Green falling to them this year.
With the 10th pick of the 2022 MLB Draft, the Colorado Rockies select Gabriel Hughes,
Take Gabriel Hughes, right-handed pitcher out of Gonzaga.
The New York Mets have the next
The Mets
pick.
are on the clock, but Hughes is the pick. Let me know your thoughts here as I'm going to get out of here, y'all. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts on the Orioles pick.
Looks like a Major League Baseball pitcher. He's just giant. He's 6'4",
6'4", 220, bats right, throws right.
Yeah, I saw him a lot over the summer with Team USA. Now, one thing we know about the Colorado Rockies when they pick pitchers, they don't take guys that exclusively throw four-seam fastballs. Hughes, you'll see a 2 and a 4.
What are your thoughts on the Orioles draft? What do you think they did well? What do you think they didn't do well with the first pick? And everything as well. I'm getting ready to, like I said, get out of here. And I appreciate you guys.
It kind of depended on where you saw him this year. Like in the postseason, he looked great. Early on, he looked really good. But for me, it's that combination 2 fastball slider that's been the big difference. Those two ultimately accounted for about 80% of the pitches that Manoah threw this year. He was primarily fastball slider. The fastball stays if he wants it to be there. So, I mean, he can hold a 4-seamer on the inside part of the plate if he wants, and if he wants it to
and
play
I'm going to
up,
get out of here, y'all.
ultimately he can elevate the sliders.
Appreciate
The
you
slider got
guys.
more top to bottom and side to side, which is going to be.
Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts on this as well. And until next time, y'all, peace.